guys, so I have a wicked exciting video for you today in my opinion. Oh, by the way, I just got my hair done darker, that's why it looks different, but it's the same color, it's just fresh. I got it done today, so I love it. I also got a little bit of a trim and I am obsessed. But what I'm doing today is a dupe video for some high-end eyeshadows. I found a lot of dupes for the Naked palette. I don't have all the colors. I believe I'm missing Naked, Half-Baked, Gunmetal, and Sidecar. I have dupes for some of these colors, but I just don't have them with me. But all the other ones I do have dupes of with me that I found in my collection. So I'm just super excited to do this video. And you guys might be thinking, why would I need dupes for the Naked palette? I already have the Naked palette. That was like years ago, Meg. What are you doing? But I figured I'm running out of some colors, and individual eyeshadows from this palette are $18. And if you don't want to go out and buy the whole friggin' palette for $50, you might find some of these dupes helpful, so you can just go out and get these for very cheap drugstore prices. You can just use those instead of having to go buy a whole new palette or spend 20 bucks. So I just thought it would be helpful. And who doesn't want to dupe for a really expensive eyeshadow? I mean, come on, people. I have a lot from the Naked palette, and then I do have the Stila Kitten Duo. I have a dupe for a color in here, and I have a dupe for Matte Malloy in the Meet Matte Nude palette. I'm gonna start out with the Naked palette though, because I do have the most in here. The first color, Virgin, I found a pretty much identical dupe in the Walking on Eggshells palette by Wet n Wild. This is like $2.99 at the drugstore. You really can't beat that. And I'm gonna swatch these right next to each other so you guys can see. This is the Naked palette, and this is the Walking on Eggshells. And they're very, very similar, except I honestly think that the Wet n Wild one is a lot more pigmented than the Naked palette. I actually found that a lot of the Wet n Wild ones are more pigmented. And there's also another dupe in here for the color next to Virgin, which is Sin. It's like this champagne color. I'm gonna swatch all these for you guys just so you can see. So Sin is this color, and this is the Walking on Eggshells. And I'll swatch them for you. It is Sin, and that is the Walking on Eggshells. So the third color down in the Walking on Eggshells is Sin, and this color is Virgin. It's amazing. $2.99, you really can't beat that. And sorry, I have like a little hair dye. I got my hair done today, so I have a little dye on my finger. I must have touched my hair or something. I do not have a dupe for the color Naked. I know there's some out there if you went searching, but I just don't have one in my collection. SMOG, this color right here in the Naked palette, is an identical dupe I found in the Comfort Zone palette. This palette has so many dupes in it for high-end makeup, it's ridiculous. I'm gonna swatch these. It's the third color down right here, the crease color on the left side. And that's what the two look like on my fingers right there. This is SMOG Urban Decay, and this is the Wet n Wild. And that is the swatch on my hand. That's the Urban Decay, and that's the Wet n Wild. That is an exact dupe. Next one over, DARKHORSE, right next to SMOG, is also found in the Comfort Zone palette. This crease color, this is SMOG, and this is DARKHORSE basically. The Wet n Wild one is way more pigmented, but they swatch almost the same. So that is DARKHORSE, and that is the Wet n Wild. They're very similar. I mean, on the finger they look different, but on the skin they look the same. This color Toasted right here, the purpley pink tone in the Naked palette, I found a dupe for it in the L'Oreal Infallible line. It's the color Amber Rush, and they're both like a rose gold color. This is the Naked palette, and this is the Amber Rush. As you can see, they're very similar colors. The L'Oreal is a little more on the pink base side, and this is a little more purple, but they really are very similar. Also, the color Hustle has a very close dupe in the Comfort Zone palette. It is the Definer color, on the left side of the palette. So that is Urban Decay right there, and that is the Wet n Wild. and they are very similar colors. Now the last color I have as a dupe is the color Creep, the black shimmery color in the Naked palette. So I do have a dupe for Creep in the Spoiled Brat palette by Wet n Wild. The middle color, the crease color, is also a very sparkly black shade. They're like the same exact color. This is Wet n Wild and this is Urban Decay. So Urban Decay is over here and Wet n Wild is right here. Same color. And then there is a Wet n Wild dupe for Gunmetal. I just don't have that palette. It's in the Lust palette and it's the navy color. So there is a very similar dupe to Gunmetal. I just don't have it in my collection. But yeah, I don't have the Naked sidecar or Buck for drugstore dupes. Buck is very similar to Matte Rosen in the Meet Matte palette, but that's also kind of a high-end palette. But if you do have that, that color is like a really close dupe. And this is a very popular color from Stila. I'm not sure about this. This says Kitten. It doesn't say there's two different colors for this. It just says the color is Kitten. So I don't know which side is the actual Kitten color, but I did find a dupe in the Comfort Zone palette for this color. So I'm not really sure which one's the Kitten, but I do have a dupe for this color right here. Is the eyelids in the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. So this is the Wet n Wild and this is the Stila. So Wet n Wild and Stila, same color. Really is amazing what you can find at the drugstore. So the last high-end eyeshadow dupe that I have for you guys is in the Meet Matte Nude palette. The color Matte Malloy has been increasingly popular. This palette retails for $42 and it can be found in this NYX Love in Paris palette called Merci Boucoup, and I will swatch both for you. This is the Matte Malloy and this is the Merci Boucoup. They're both the same color. Okay, so Matte Malloy and the Merci Boucoup. The Merci Boucoup is a lot less pigmented, but they are the same color and you can definitely build that white up. So that's it for my eyeshadow swatches. I do have one last dupe and it's probably a well-known one, but I just wanted to share it with you guys. So the Urban Decay Primer Potion is a very popular eyeshadow primer, but there's a very cheap alternative. The e.l.f. Mineral Eyeshadow Primer. It looks like this. It's $1 and this is, I don't even know, I think this is around like $20 and this is $1. And I swear they work the exact same. This is an amazing primer. So go to e.l.f. or go to their website or go to Target and pick this up. Don't waste your money on a really high-end primer because this is really, really great quality primer. Okay guys, so that wraps up my dupe video. I hope you could see the similarities in these swatches that I did. They look almost exact in person, so I hope that came across on camera. If you like videos like this, thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.